Welcome to Melt. I'm Suresh Venkat. We're tracking the business of sports today on Melt, courtesy GroupM ESP's annual Sporting Nation report. The good news? The sports industry in India saw a remarkable 11% surge in 2023 over the previous year to a record total revenue of more than 15,760 crores. But no surprises there. 87% of spends from that come from cricket, with all other emerging and participative sports contributing to the remaining 13%. To know more, we're in conversation with Vinit Karnik, Head of Sports, Esports and Entertainment at GroupM ESP. How can brands make the most out of a cluttered cricket market? Is there value to an esports sponsorship? And what exactly are participative sports? Let's find out as we get ready to melt with Vinit Karnik. Vinit, welcome back to Melt. So first question, GroupM ESP has changed the name of this annual report. It's no longer Sporting Nation in the making, but Sporting Nation building a legacy. What explains this change?
Yeah, thanks, Suresh. Firstly, thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. So yeah, absolutely. So when we started this initiative of sports sponsorship report in 2014, the whole idea behind this report was to evangelize this space, because sports as a sector was very new to us, because IPL happened in 2008, and that's when we actually realized that sports could possibly become a business in India. By 2014, you had an ISL started, you had a hockey league, you had Kabaddi league, and you had multiple leagues on the back of IPL, which had started in India. And that is when we thought that this is going to grow, and this requires a structured effort towards bringing multiple elements together, you see. Now, the reason why we thought that it's appropriate for us to change it to building a legacy is because if you see what all we have done or achieved as a country over the last 17 years is quite humongous, so to say. So we have actually hosted 3 to 4 cricket World Cups. We have hosted, I think, 2 hockey World Cups. We hosted under 17 football World Cup. Last year, we hosted MotoGP Bharat. Our medal tallies in Olympics is going up. We did 7 plus medals in Tokyo Olympics. We did 100 plus medals in Asian Games last year. So we have come a long way. We have almost 10 plus Premier Leagues mushrooming and sustaining themselves over the last so many years. Now, isn't that reason for us to believe that we have moved the needle from a sporting nation in the making to building a legacy? And a couple of additional points which deserve a mention behind the name change is our ambition to host Olympics in 2036. We are very clearly from the top, our Honorable Prime Minister has expressed his interest to host Olympics in 2036. AIFF has expressed interest of hosting FIFA World Cup in 2032. Now, these are some of the data points which possibly make us believe that we have moved the needle and we are actually started building a legacy.
Your report is quite exhaustive. It covers everything from sponsorships to broadcast to franchise fees and endorsements. Now, Vinit, if you were to summarize this report into 3 headlines that marketers absolutely need to know, what would those be?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Suresh. So the first headline I would like to make is that sports as a sector is growing at a CAGR of 13.3%. There is a significant growth in the digital ad spend, almost to the tune of 40% over 2022, which is very, very encouraging. Third thing is our endorsement pie within sports sponsorship is also growing at a pace of 24% over 2022. Interestingly, a lot of women athletes, including the women cricketers, have seen a lot of headline brands, come in and possibly sign them up as brand endorsers. I mean, you know that WPL has been a great initiative, a great success. We just finished second season. Over and above the points I made, Suresh, one call out is, see, we always consider cricket to be the biggest sport, and it is the biggest sport. Okay, I mean, covering almost 87% of the business. But guess what? There is a lot of work and effort being put in the emerging sport economy. Okay, and India is a large country, right? I mean, we always look at India. You travel every 200 kilometers. There's a language change. There's a dialect change. There are a lot of things that changes, right? And so is the habit of sports consumption. So if Kerala, Goa, Northeast are pockets where football is popular, there are pockets being built for a kabaddi, for a kho-kho, or for even volleyball today. Okay, so therefore, marketeers need to look at sport in a very, very different lens. Wrestling again is a hugely popular sport in the hinterland, right? So depending upon what the task, what the challenges are, today sports can become a platform for advertisers to leverage and possibly engage with their target audience within the community and region, depending upon what markets are prioritized from that standpoint.
Could you give us a ballpark estimate of the contribution of all sports to annual ADEX across media?
So I think if you look at the annual ADEX, it would be somewhere around 12 to 13% today.
So allow me to play devil's advocate here. With cricket dominating spends at a whopping 87% of the total pie, is India truly a sporting nation?
See, without a doubt, I am not going to be shying away to accept that we are predominantly driven by cricket. But also, what one needs to consider that our entire emerging sport economy took a massive hit because of COVID, okay? And the fact of the matter is, it has not recovered to the extent of its full glory that it was growing pre-COVID, right? So therefore, in 2023, we have seen some kind of a shrinkage there. But what we are also seeing is, like, for example, you saw our badminton league has not seen, it's not happened after COVID. Our wrestling league has not happened after COVID. Hockey league has not happened for the last couple of seasons. So it has definitely taken a hit, right? So therefore, for it to come back to its full glory, it might take maybe 2024 and 2025 to some extent, because if you remember the kind of effort and marketing dollars that were put in towards building this entire emerging sports economy was humongous in 2012, 13 and 14. Now it has to come back to its glory. So it will take a couple of more years. Having said that, you have another massive story being come, and we have covered that also in our report, is about participative sports. Today, the encouragement that we have is our participative sports have delivered more than 1,000 crores in sponsorship revenue alone. So these are some of the things which are helping the emerging sport economy to catapult and coming back to its pre-COVID levels. But in my view, it will still take a couple of years more for it to come back to its full glory of 2019.
Okay, so let's come back to cricket, specifically the IPL. We're hearing reports of a slow start to the sponsorship outlays on the IPL this year. What's the pitch report from you?
Not at all, Suresh. In fact, just to put things into perspective, I will speak about the on-ground part and then come to the on-air, which is the advertising part to it. So if you see, I will break the center sponsorship into two parts, okay? One is the title sponsor, which is, and one is a team sponsorship, right? So if you look at Tata's, have put 500 crores on table for title sponsorship of IPL from this year for the next 5 years, okay? It was previously with Vivo, and Tata took it from Vivo at 440 crores, okay? That itself shows a healthy incremental there, okay? Plus the official partners, okay, which is the RuPay, My 11 Circle and Angel World today, have all paid incremental dollars over 2022 season, okay? So if I have to look at the central sponsorship as a kitty, it has grown almost to the tune of about 20%, okay, over 2022. Now let's talk about team sponsorship, okay? You have got 10 teams and about 10 slots per teams to sell. That has a healthy growth that we have seen over the last so many years, about 12% In 2024 itself, we expect that growth to touch about 15% over 2023. Yeah. Now that's quite healthy. Okay. Now that's about on ground sponsorship, which is central and team. Now let's talk about Disney and Geo. While the numbers are still been reconciled, we definitely see a healthy growth in both streaming as well as television. How much we'll have to wait and watch, but definitely from a headline standpoint for you and for the viewers, we will definitely grow over 23. Is what the sense we have at this point in time.
The IPL opportunity today is a really crowded one. So, what does buying into the IPL get a brand, and perhaps how does a brand spot the right fit for itself?
I won't worry too much about the clutter, Suresh, because see that every sponsorship tier gives you a very different objective, right? So if your objective is to shout out loud, okay, you would possibly look at a central sponsorship. So if you have a new product launch, or you have a logo change, or you have a bigger marketing story, okay, then you obviously would want to go the central way, because you would want to be present in all 74 matches, and you would want to do activation on ground, and so on and so forth. Having said that, if you have objectives which are market driven, or if you have objectives which are campaign driven or market driven, okay, you would prefer going the team sponsorship route, okay. And every logo that you are talking about, okay, delivers something to the sponsor, right? Whether it could be saliency, it could be activation, it could be match day tickets, it could be a pure play imagery driven campaign. So there are multiple things that that IPL delivers to you, depending upon what is your objective and what is your challenge or a pain point. Advertisers or marketeers choose to pick their slots or their investments, right? And today, if you look at the ROI metric, I have not seen in my 16, 17 years of IPL experience that any of the brand managers complaining about ROI when it comes to IPL. IPL always delivers more than expectation, because the imagery of IPL and imagery of teams that IPL has built over the last so many years is so rich that consumers follow them rather than. So basically, I always say this from a marketing standpoint: IPL is a very interactive way of communication. It's not a very interruptive way of communication. It interacts with you. It's a two-way interaction, and therefore every dollar that is spent on sponsorship on ground of IPL delivers you some interactivity with your consumers, and that's the premiumness that we're talking about when it comes to the Indian Premier League.
All right, Vinit, now I'm going to ask you to name names. Any brand activations or sponsorship strategies that have caught your eye in this IPL, and if so, why?
Absolutely, I'm absolutely fine doing so, Suresh. So look at what Tatas are doing. Okay, so Tatas are doing a very interesting thing. Tata Neu is a new brand, a new super app that they have launched, and they are creating campaigns very, very beautifully through a consumer mind space. Tell me which property in this country will deliver you eyeballs consistently for 60 odd days, every day, prime time. You have got a set of audience coming and watching with you, coming and engaging with you. So Tata Neu is one brand I would want to call out. The second brand I would want to call out is RuPay. Okay. Now today in the world of credit cards, okay, we have always been used to a Master, Visa, or a Amex, right? Now RuPay is a homegrown, our own Indian answer to a Master or a Visa, right? Today, what RuPay is doing over the last 3-4 years with IPL is phenomenal, right? It's basically engaging with consumers and building consumer preferences, right? Because today, for me as a growing kid or a teenager, I didn't know that a Master and Visa were always global companies coming to India. Today, we are going global. Third example is Dream 11. Okay, now if you see, that's a very interesting one. So Dream 11 had this space for a longest time in IPL. Today, My 11 Circle is a central sponsor, but what Dream 11 has done. So of the 10 teams, I think if I'm right, Dream 11 has sponsors with 8 teams, of which 4 are on jersey front. Okay. Now that's the kind of disruption we are seeing in the fantasy space. So I can go on and on. There are multiple campaigns marketeers launch with IPL, and I haven't, as I said, I haven't seen a not so happy brand manager after putting investments in IPL. So these are some of the top line examples that come to my mind today, Suresh.
Vinit, your report pegs Kabaddi as the second biggest sport after cricket in India. So, what does Kabaddi get right versus perhaps football or hockey?
So it's a format and the interesting way, Mashal Sports has packaged Kabaddi. That's actually caught a lot of fancy in the audience. And if you look at Kabaddi's ratings, it's a decent mix between urban and rural, right? I mean, and the format, it's so engaging that, and I think it's also marketed quite well, Suresh. More importantly, you don't have any global benchmarks to compare Kabaddi with, right? India is the benchmark. It's a homegrown sport. Okay, so therefore, the fan affinity has built on the back of a Pro Kabaddi League. Unlike a football, where you have got the best of the football available to Indians to watch on streaming or on television today, that's not the case with Kabaddi. Okay, Kabaddi. I mean, the best Kabaddi is played in India. Unlike football, where the best football may not be played in India but in Europe. Having said that, I personally believe that over a period of time, football is a far bigger sport globally, and at some point in time, India will warm up to football as a sport, and ISL or I League is doing phenomenally well. Slowly, steadily, that story also is getting built at a grassroots level because. As we all know that you can't build a sport overnight. I mean, it usually takes about a couple of decades to actually build a sport and one generational shift towards building that affinity as well. So that's the story of football. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, these are the three things that work for Kabaddi and currently that's what makes it the number 2 sport.
Now, this leads me to my next question about the impact of connected TVs and smart TVs. What impact do they have on sports?
Certainly, Suresh. I mean, it definitely does have a positive impact on that because see, it a connected TV and the entire data story in India has only helped the growth of consumers watching sports on multiple devices, right? Whether it could be a phone or whether it could be connected TV. Today, if you see, this is the second season when Jio is not charging any subscription to watch IPL. These are the things which definitely has helped in the growth of streaming viewership, whether it's on connected TV or mobile phones, it definitely has helped, no doubt about that.
Your report also highlights the importance of what are called participative sports. So my question is this, does GroupM expect activity here to pick up?
Okay, so participative sports, we have currently taken marathons predominantly, okay? And you would see, you walk into go into any city early morning, and you will see so many people today running and so many people doing organized running. As per our estimates, our participative sports marathons are 1,000 plus crores in sponsorship revenue. And we are not considering the subscription revenue at this point in time because our report is about sponsorship. So that's an excitement. And so that's about marathons. We also see a huge amount of emphasis on golf. Okay, because while golf has always been a premium sport, there is a serious amount of effort towards making golf also democratic in some way or the other. So I see a lot of youngsters today wanting to at least talk about golf or wanting to play golf, and these kind of facilities are increasing only in cities today. So it's marathons, it's golf, it's motorsports. These are some of the early trends that we are seeing where we will see growth going forward. Because we have always spoke about team sports like hockey, football, kabaddi, volleyball, kho-kho. These are some of the early trends we see in participative sports, Suresh.
So let me wear the hat of a brand manager now. If I were a brand manager, should I club all emerging sports together like your report does, for instance, while I'm planning my spends?
Okay, so when you're planning your brand activity, I would not encourage you to do that. The reason why we do that in our report, we have a reason to do that is because the emerging sport numbers are quite small at this point in time. Okay, they're about 2,500 odd crores compared to a massive 7,000 odd crores in the cricketing parlance, right? And we want a couple of sports to actually come out of the closet and possibly cross the 1,000 crore mark for us to start recording it separately. And we are not shying away from saying that. Yes, emerging sport economy is small at this point in time, but the challenge for all of us put together is to get that pie growing. And not that these sports don't deliver you marketing ROIs. It all depends upon the objective that a brand or a marketeer has at that point in time. Cricket, without a doubt, is a mass sport. I mean, not taking that away. So therefore, if you have specific challenges in specific markets, we possibly would advise marketeers to choose which sport in that particular market, and what works at what point in time and where.
Vinit, how would you assess the potential of esports and gaming across India?
Yeah, so that's a massive story panning out, and I don't know if you're aware, but we do a separate report for gaming and esports, which we do around summer, around June, July every year, and we believe that while we are relatively slower in embracing that change, I think it's massive. So just to give you a bit of an explanation here, because it's a little complicated and people tend to misunderstand what we say. See, gaming we see in multiple different parts, Suresh. Okay, so gaming currently, gamers are doing pretty well and making serious amount of money, because gamers today are also influencers. So that's one pie which is growing. Second is the publisher economy. Okay, the publishers are doing exceedingly well, because what happens, people who play games today are also doing a lot of in-app purchases to play better, or to have better strength when they're playing those sports. So that's a massive economy, we believe. Okay, and the third set is the streaming economy. Okay, which is your YouTubes and Loco of the world who are streaming the esports, and therefore the digital ad spends are going in that direction. So three things: our gamers are doing extremely well because our gamers are influencers. The entire streaming economy is growing, and the publisher economy is growing. Sponsorship in this area is a bit slow today, because we have not been able to organize multiple parts of gaming and esports today. We haven't seen the kind of tournaments that happen in the real world, because we are only seeing that in the virtual world. And if you if you do tournaments in the virtual world, the entire focus is going to be on streaming and on in-app purchases, right? So I think somewhere down the line, we believe in the next 2 to 3 years, this industry will take its true shape. India is a massive market for gaming and esports, and somewhere like the West, we will also start hosting esports and gaming tournaments in its physical avatar. And once it goes that route, imagine an esports or a tournament in a Wankhede Stadium or a Eden Garden. That's the kind of a scale we see these kind of tournaments taking shape in the West. I think we are not too far. Couple of years from today, I think that story will also pan out the way it's been panned out in the West.
All right, on that note, Vinit Karnik, thank you once again for speaking to us at Melt.
Thanks, Suresh. Always a pleasure to be on your show, and thank you very much once again.
With that, it's a wrap on Melt. Keep following Melt on social media. The handle is Ready to Melt, or simply log on to readytomelt.com. If you'd like to follow me, I'm @Suvenk on X. Till next week, goodbye and thanks for watching.